By modern society, I do not mean physically or literally. Importantly, I mean existentially, and when it comes to an appreciation and finding of identity, that is, in terms of purpose. Critical theories have taken the historical place of the Caucasian male as the founder and leader of the New World, of civilization, of the family and ideology, and turned it on its head. In fact, the New World wasn't discovered, but conquered. Civilizations were not built by the ancestors of these men, but by the slaves and indentured slaves and labor at its core. What made a family was not the man, but the woman who had sacrificed her individuality in the interest of her husband and children, and is biologically of greater value. Ideology before critical theories failed miserably because it didn't comprehend or feature or in any way represent the vast majority of the human population, namely women, non-white populations, children, other sexualities, genders. A consequence of this is that modern society celebrates everything except what it traditionally and historically was. And I would argue that this is because the beliefs and mores of the modern world are defined not by religion, as was the case in pre-modern times, or by ideology, as was most definitely the case last century, but by psychology, by a preoccupation with the individual insofar as they have a mind in need of study and health, insofar as the life of the mind is concerned, and insofar as emotions have become pivotal to understanding the modern human experience and economy. In short, contemporary modern societies are not defined by what societies throughout history have been defined by, namely by religion or philosophy and religion, or the philosophy of religion and or ideology, but by purely psychology. A noteworthy characteristic and very interesting point about psychology is that due to its preoccupation with the life of the mind, the psyche and emotions, it is inherently feminine. The 19th century's pseudoscientific diagnosis of hysteria in women is an initial indicator of this inevitability, and early psychologists' interest in women's minds is also a legacy which it cannot escape. And it wasn't just that psychoanalysis found studying the fragile minds of women highly intriguing. Psychoanalysis was an emerging field where Europe's first female medical students noticeably excelled. These were mainly Russian Jewish women who studied under Swiss psychologists Carl Jung and Eugene Bleuler. They represented the prominence of women pioneers of psychoanalysis. It is arguably because of psychoanalysis' attention to attributes historically associated with femininity, which drew so many women to it, not merely as unwilling patients, but as students and professionals. The entry of psychological expertise into the modern workplace and service economy meant inadvertently that aspects of women's emotional experiences and selfhood were incorporated into the new guidelines to manage human relationships in the modern workplace.